I had a third interview with the FBI. Oh, my duderino. How are we doing today, boys? Talking about the FBI call. I had a third interview with the FBI. Oh, feels good, man. Apparently somebody photoshopped a video. Somebody edited a video so that they took clips of me talking about violence against conservatives and then like the video of like me holding a gun and sent it in. And I guess the guy said that like I was like personally threatening him or some shit. Was it hard to explain? No, actually, I was really surprised. The guy seemed like he doesn't know much about my area of the internet, but he seemed like pretty, do I say sophisticated? Like, he told me, like, coming in, he was like, I have to check up on this. Like, obviously, this video is edited. Like, I can see, like, that your hair is, like, a significantly different length between, like, the talking clip and the clip of you holding a gun. But obviously, as the FBI, they have to check up on it. Length of video? He never gave me the actual video, but... Are we not getting more driving streams after Hassan's ban? I'm probably never doing a driving stream again. That shit is way too fucking spooky. And Twitch totally went full-on fucking random on how they fucking ban for that shit now. So I'll never fucking do another driving stream. Holy shit. I don't even know if I would trust like a friend in the car doing a driving stream. I don't even know what gets you banned. Whoops. I don't even know what gets you banned anymore for driving streams. Actually, I'm kind of curious. Somebody can tell me. Hassan claimed that when he was driving that he like pulled over to like take his phone out. Is that actually true? I don't know. That's what he said. I don't know if that actually happened. I think he was at a red light. Oh, To be fair, driving while streaming in general probably should be banned. It's distract driving and about as bad as a DUI. It's not even remotely close to a DUI. Depending on how you're handling the stream, I would argue that it's comparable to having a conversation with somebody in a car while you're streaming, depending on how much you're focusing on the screen and fucking around with the thing. People don't know it, but like having a carrying on like a conversation that requires some level of thought while you're driving is also something that requires like that takes attention away from driving. Destiny shit take. Yeah, I know, but it's the fact. If you're driving with somebody, and people might not want to admit it in chat, which is fine. I don't give a fuck. I'm never going to take driving advice in chat. People don't want to admit it in chat, but if you've ever been with somebody that's driving and having a complicated conversation with somebody, when I say complicated, I don't mean like, what are you doing tomorrow? I mean like, but having like an in-depth conversation with somebody while driving, it distracts them. It is some level of distraction. Like you can tell they drive a little bit worse. They might miss things. Like it happens. But no, there have been studies that convos with people in cars don't have the same effect because the passenger in the car can react and slow down the convo in response to things going on in the road. There's like so much wrong with that statement. I don't even want to. I don't even want to get into it. Well, actually, it's not that bad because if something emergency is ahead, the passenger can give you a warning. Like, okay. Okay, I don't want to talk about this shit because I'm going to end up getting triggered. Destiny, I mean, it's plausible, I guess. Well, it's plausible, but the problem is if the passenger is alerting you to driving conditions, you've already kind of like made like a huge error in driving, right? Like if your passenger's going to be like, watch out! You're going to crash! Like, oh shit! Like, that's not, you don't want that, right? And if anything, that actually triggers the fuck out of me. That's actually like a huge pet peeve I have. If I'm driving with somebody, and this has happened to me before, where somebody's like watching something on their phone, or they'll hear something, and they're like, and I'll hear that, and I'm like, what? And I'll be like freaking the fuck out, because it's like, what the fuck is going on? Like, when people do that as a passenger, it's actually my number one fucking trigger, is when I hear somebody like in the passenger be like, they're like, what? Because they're like looking at something else or whatever. It's like, oh, okay. There is absolutely no fucking reason why K-Bubbles is not banned for her driving. That is some absolute bullshit. I would make way stronger statements on that if I didn't legitimately think I would get banned for some random ass fucking shit. But that's like you need to make a PR statement, or K-Bubbles is under more investigation and a bigger ban is coming down the line. I have no fucking idea how K-Bubbles, one, even has a fucking driver's license, and two, she fucking crashes. I don't even know how the fuck somebody like that is even allowed in a fucking car. She hits like a fucking fire hydrant on the fucking street. What was she doing? Like on a straight like fucking thing. She just like, I have no idea. Like, it's insane how K-Bubbles is not banned. And it's not even like, I don't even care if she's not banned from Twitch. Like, she shouldn't have a license. Maybe, I don't even know if she's old enough for a license. I don't know how old she is. Oh my god, holy fucking shit. Did you see her on her phone yesterday while driving? It's not, I don't care so much about like on your phone or whatever. It's just like having like zero awareness of like what's happening and like just blazing through. Not only was she blazing through stop signs, when she watched the clip of her blazing through stop signs, my take on that is like, if you're gonna do it, I mean, fucking at least be aware of your shit. But like when she's doing it, she's like, oh, I didn't even run that stop sign. See, I came to a stop. Like, motherfucker, these weren't even close to stops. Do you not realize that, or do you just not want to like say it on stream? Like,
what would be a reason you would move on from Twitch as a streaming platform to, say, YouTube?
If I get banned? How can that be a depend? I don't know, because if you're in like bumper to bumper traffic and you're moving like 2 miles an hour and you drive with your knees, I don't fucking care. What the fuck is gonna happen? Is some fucking car gonna come flying out of the sky you have to dodge, or is some kid gonna come running into the middle of fucking traffic and you're gonna run him over at 2 miles an hour? Like, yeah. Thoughts on distractions due to the big touch screens in new cars like the ones in Teslas? I think a lot of those don't work while you're driving, right?
See, I really would like to ask Destiny this. I almost wanted to get in a call with him on this, but I'm afraid I'd look like a total idiot, so I'm not sure I want to do it. But I want to ask Destiny this.
Nathan, put on real clothes if you're gonna come out here, okay?
I wonder what his stance is
I can't go to Yemen. I'm a pickle.
I wonder what his stance is on bullfighting and cockfighting. Because if I understand him correctly, he shouldn't care. And then I wonder if...
What the fuck are you even talking about? Dissecting meme Andy, weird cham.
I'm sorry. So here's the question. Does he think that you are... is it possible in his head, is it possible to be against bullfighting and still eat beef?
Nope. Bullfighting, dog fighting, whatever. It's all A-okay. If you're not a fucking vegan, you need to shut the fuck up about bullfighting. You need to shut the fuck up about dog fighting. That's not even like... That's an argument that I could have in my fucking sleep, okay? You could wake me up. It could be like 2 a.m. Like, oh, what's up? And they'd be like, Destiny, we've brought the master meat eater debater in the world here. I was like, oh, yeah. Like, he's ready to debate about whether or not he can eat meat and be against bullfighting. It's like, okay, yeah, bring him up. Oh, bring him up. And I could win that debate in 2 minutes and have enough time to go back to sleep before I even fucking fully woken up. That's how fucking easy that debate is, okay? It's so easy. Can you explain why you think intention doesn't matter here? One is torture for entertainment, one is nutrition. Both watching bulls tear each other up in a fucking ring and eating meat are both forms of recreation. Neither one is necessary. You just do it because it's fun, okay? Do you equate the entertainment gain from dog/bullfighting morally with the nutritional gains eating meat gives? More or less, yeah. I think they're pretty comparable. Well, you could argue, like, if you want to talk about like levels of wrongness, if we did yield more consideration to animals, give. I don't know if yield is correct there. Then you could say bullfighting is probably a little bit worse. Not that much though.
Wow.
Oh, actually, I'm not even sure if that's true. I would actually have to think about that a lot. Actually, because for bullfighting, I could argue that with bullfighting, you can take 2 animals and then torture and kill them, but it could be for the entertainment of thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of people with just 2 animals, right? And you could even enjoy it later by watching it on TV. Whereas for animal agriculture, you have to constantly enslave, torture, and then murder animals in order to feed people. So actually, oh shit. Why are people saying camera? Is my camera frozen? Because it's not frozen on my stream at all. So I don't even know if bullfighting is worse than meat eating there, because with bullfighting you might reduce the overall amount of harm. But then that is asking slightly a different question. But yeah. Do you have to torture though, or is it just laziness on the ag industry? I mean, it's a combination of both. If there was less like torture or better conditions involved, the meat would be significantly more expensive. You ban too many people for your subreddit to grow. I mean, you can just look at the subreddit stats. I mean, it still grows. I mean, it's past 61,000 people now. It's grown quite a bit over the past few days. I do ban a lot of people, but like I think that heavy-handed moderation is better than light-handed moderation. And everybody that I banned recently just needs to go. Like, hop over to the fucking lefty subreddits and get the fuck out. Holy shit. Oh, that brings me to a wonderful point. I can't even. Sometimes I wonder if there's like some fucking universe shit. If I'm like in a simulation. Did you guys see the David Pakman video? Oh my god. This is 6 minutes if I times 2 it. Where is this Pakman video that he just? Here it is. Okay. This is so crazy that he released this video like right as I really want to talk to him about this. Oh my god, I want to talk about this so much. I'll put it on 1 point. Oh wait, I think I'll put it on 2 times.
I've been thinking for a while about whether to do the story that I'm going to do right now. And I've been thinking about it generally for a couple of months and more intensely for the last 10 days or so. And the reason I've been hesitant, I'll just be totally upfront with you, is that I know it's going to have a negative impact on my show because of a specific segment of the audience. Let me set it up for you. About 10 days ago, Tim Pool, who's an independent journalist, he says he's center left. He knows I see him as really an antagonizer of the left primarily. We disagree about this. It's no big deal. People disagree about things, and that's totally fine. And he tweeted about 10 days ago, quote, "My lefty friends message me every so often that they are scared of speaking out against the far left because they will get attacked, because they won't push back on the far left Dems, don't see opposition, and embrace woke Twitter. This will lead to Trump's 2020 landslide." And my reaction was, this is Tim agitating again. And I wrote back on Twitter, quote, "I'd be genuinely curious who those lefty friends are. I've never met anyone in lefty independent media who's afraid of just saying what they believe, period. I would love to interview someone prominent who can talk about these fears that they have." And then a few hours went by, and I had to be honest with myself. It's not a fear of the far left that I have, but I am one of those people Tim talked about who is scared about dealing with certain issues in the way I want to deal with them. Not because they go against the, quote, far left, or because I'm afraid of calling out what I see as the far left. I think that's the wrong terminology. But I've been pushed away from talking about certain topics, at least in a certain way, because I've realized there's no upside. My core audience will agree. Right-wingers will disagree, as they often do. But there is this sliver of the left that will be so furious with me that they will wreak havoc over our entire online presence, YouTube, emailing, tweeting, all of this stuff, for 2 weeks if I say certain things. And there's really very little upside to doing that. So I want to, before
Is this too fast? I can turn it down to 1.5. I'm sorry. Here you go. This whole video so far has basically been him warning his audience, please don't fucking hate me, okay? Here you go.
I even go any further. Let me be like insanely crystal clear here to avoid any misunderstandings. I'm not having a right-wing awakening, okay? This is not me changing the show to be critical of small slices of the left and focus on them more than they actually deserve to be focused on. This is not me saying I've changed my mind on any political issue. This is me just admitting that I've been sort of pushed away from dealing with certain stories as frequently as I might otherwise deal with them, because when I tell the truth as I see it about these stories, there is a slice of the left that goes so bonkers that it is simply not worth it. So let's talk about some specifics. I'm going to give you examples of what I mean. And I know that I am causing hell to rain down upon me as a result of doing this, but I'm just going to tell it the way I see it. Just the other day, I got a call from someone who told me, "Hey, David, people of color can't be racist and white people can't be the victims of racism." And I just said it the way I saw it, the way I see it. My position is super clear. In the United States, most frequently, people of color are the victims of racism and not the racists, and white people frequently are the perpetrators and not the victims of racism. But white people can be victims of racism. People of color can be racist, and we need to distinguish between racism and oppression on the basis of race. I haven't said a word about it since I covered it 2 weeks ago, because a small part of the left went absolutely unhinged, made the day-to-day of my online experience insufferable, which I know.
Are you excited to play Apex when you get home? Bonus meme wowie.
Yep.
Was their goal. Now, I'm a big boy. I can take it. I'm okay, but it pushes me away from continuing to hit the wasp's nest with a stick every single day. When I talk about Tulsi Gabbard, there is no other 2020 candidate that I can talk about casually, as I sometimes have about Tulsi Gabbard, that will trigger the level of hatred and vile responses as when I mention Tulsi Gabbard. Tulsi is a presidential candidate, polling about 1%. When I talk about other candidates who poll 1%, Amy Klobuchar, Bill de Blasio, whoever, the reactions are to the content of what I say. And if I talk about Tulsi Gabbard, the Tulsi sycophants lose their minds. They smear me. They slander me the way they did to the Young Turks' Anna Kasparian when she did a segment about Tulsi. So do I not talk about Tulsi? No, I talk about her, but I avoid getting too involved. She's polling 1%. She's going to go away soon. Why talk that much about Tulsi when the followers are truly toxic and there is very little upside? Let's talk about the squad, those 4 ethnic minority congresswomen. I basically don't talk about them because I can't do any serious critique without being called a racist, without being told that I am a centrist Democratic establishment shill. Now, you'll notice, if you watch the show the last 10 days, I have been covering this absolutely horrible xenophobic racist treatment of the squad by Donald Trump recently, but that's safe, right? If I try to issue any kind of critique of the squad whatsoever, for example, I have questions about their strategy. While very inspired and principled, will the strategy and tactics of the squad achieve legislative goals? Because I view them as lacking the political savvy to understand how coalitions work, to understand how politics achieves things in the United States. And if I have that conversation, and I've tried before, David, you racist. David, you centrist Nancy Pelosi shill. My politics are to the left of Hillary. My politics are to the left of Biden. My politics are to the left of Pelosi. But I am very skittish about doing any kind of critique of the squad because there's a sliver of the left that will punish me every time. And I wonder, is it even really worth it? I have other things to talk about. Yesterday on the bonus show, we talked about another issue, which I know is like a tinderbox, issues of gender and parenting around gender and trans issues. There is no stronger supporter of trans rights than me. Use any bathroom you want. I don't care. It should be illegal to fire someone because of their gender identity, because of a change to their gender identity, because of their status as a trans individual. We should use the gender pronouns for people that they want us to use when we address them or refer to them. I'm all for it. But I worry about pushing.
Can I just give you a pro tip for debates with the right in the future? And especially if you're in front of an audience, if somebody tells you, can black people be racist against white people? The answer is just fucking yes, okay? Just say yes. Don't eat the L on that one. You will never, ever, ever, to try to give some insanely convoluted definition of racism, you're never going to win that debate, okay? Everybody's going to hate you. Just fucking say yes. And then you can explain the difference between institutional or structuralized racism versus individual racist acts later. But if you say no, you've lost like 95% of the fucking audience already. Like, what?
gender neutrality on kids to a degree that doesn't make sense empirically. The truth is, and I said this yesterday on the bonus show, I know I'm opening up Pandora's box. The truth is, statistically, very few kids experience gender-related issues in the sense of being born with male genitalia and feeling as though they're female or vice versa, or being non-binary, etc. And I've seen no evidence that pushing gender neutrality to the degree of don't refer to my baby as he or she, total neutrality with toys and clothes, shielding the children themselves from their gender, I think that there's a good chance this does more damage than good. And the truth is, kids live in the world, they live in society, they will see representations of boys and girls in media. If they have a question about their gender identity, they're going to know it, even if we treat them as boys or girls as they grow up. I will be called transphobic for this statement. And it's why I stay away from the topic altogether. I dealt with it on the bonus show yesterday. Some people emailed me and said, David, you really should just say what you think on your regular public broadcast show. Another issue, Israel and Palestine. I believe that I am in agreement with the bulk of leftists on 95% of the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. I am completely against the administration of Benjamin Netanyahu because I'm on the left and he's on the right. I'm against illegal settlements in the Palestinian territories. I believe they must stop immediately. I want to find the most direct path possible to ending the Gaza blockade. I want to return sovereignty over the Palestinian territories, including East Jerusalem, in a solution that I want to advance as quickly as possible. But I don't believe Israel is uniquely bad as an actor. I don't believe IDF soldiers have any unique bloodlust relative to the militaries and armies of other countries. I believe that if the goal were simply, let's kill as many Palestinian civilians as possible, the death toll would be untold orders of magnitude higher. And I do believe that there is way more veiled anti-Semitism within the anti-Israeli movement than many on the left like to admit. But we basically agree on policy. And this is another topic I tend to shy away from. Given the option of talking about that or something else, I tend to shy away because laying out what I just laid out is a huge risk for me because of that slice of the left. Venezuela, as many of you know, I'm against American regime change in Venezuela. I'm against American involvement in Venezuela. I know, being from Argentina, the history of disastrous American involvement in Latin America. But I also think the Chavez and Maduro regimes have been disastrous for Venezuela and its people. And merely saying that causes a slice of the left to say that even if I say I'm against regime change, merely by criticizing Maduro, I am legitimizing regime change by the United States and fomenting or enabling the American involvement in Venezuela. I can't win, so I shy away from it. The right obviously disagrees with me on all of these issues, so who cares, right? But if I'm totally honest with myself and with you, I do shy away from certain topics because of what I know will be a toxic reaction from a slice of the left. I will lose financial support because of this story. I mean, this is the saddest thing. Guaranteed, doing this story, that right now, these 10, 12 minutes we're going to spend talking about this, I will lose financial support, even though I've clarified that nothing has changed. I hold all of the exact positions as I always have, but merely spelling this out will lead some people to cancel their memberships, will lead some people to cancel their Patreon pledges. But I've decided to tell you that this is going on, that this self-censorship is going on. I've repeated many times, when YouTube videos get demonetized, I could say, let me pick stories that will remain monetized. I've never done that. And fortunately, we've been growing our direct financial support where it hasn't become a financial choice that I have to make. I do the stories I think are important with regard to monetization. But the truth is that the blowback that there's been from a sliver of the left, totally toxic blowback, on some stories has pushed me away from talking about certain issues as much. And it's not a good thing. And electorally, it's a concern as well. Because as I talked about, much of what Donald Trump does is designed to divide the left. And we need to resist that because we need to keep our eyes on the ball. And there's so many other reasons why that's important. A similar analysis applies here as well. We really just need to be talking about what's important to discuss. And the fact that I admit I have self-censored around some issues because of these blowback, totally toxic reaction concerns that I have, it's not good in any way, shape, or form. Now, it is possible, and this is where, I just have to understand that this is the dynamic. The reactions, the taking over of all of our social media platforms and the email writing campaigns and the tweets and everything, to some degree, it probably is designed to get me to stay away from the topics. And I mean, I feel terrible that in a sense it has worked, but I'm laying it out for you and I'm being completely transparent with you about the reality that this is something that has been going on. I want to hear from you. What's your reaction? What do you think? I will absolutely tell you what happens in the next week as a result of me coming clean about this. I'm on Twitter at @DPakman. Follow me there. The show is on Twitter at David Pakman Show. I look forward to hearing from you.
That's quite the video. That's quite the video. Huh. Wait. Now, what could make that video more interesting?
That I'm going to do.
Let's see what the response is to this video on some,
I've been thinking
on some subreddits. Let's see. We have BreadTube. What did BreadTube have to say about this video? The number one comment. I wonder often how useful pieces like this are. It's not really a critique of leftist organization or outreach. As he says in the video multiple times, the reaction when he says these things comes from a tiny portion of the left. Instead, what this video does is more to make it appear to liberals/centrists who watch someone like Pakman that the left is fraught with infighting. It serves, whether intentionally or not, to make it seem like the left is petty and incapable of building consensus. There's let's see, this is the number one comment. All right, the number two comment. Okay, this actually pisses me off. Can't do any serious critique without being called a racist. I'm sorry, what? I see leftist critiques of all 4 of those congresswomen all the time. AOC, as much as I love her, is super soft on Israel, and she wasn't very supportive of Ilhan Omar. So what's really the problem? Because one thing I've learned over the years, if you're afraid of saying something because you might be called racist for saying it, the problem isn't with everyone who's going to call you racist. The problem is with what you want to say. Oh, the third comment. David Pakman is a reactionary, sellout, shills for imperialism, capitalism, throws AOC and Ilhan Omar under the bus, talks shit on Palestine, supports imperialism in Venezuela. I could go on. The next response to that. I can't believe I used to consider people like him, Jimmy Dore, and Kyle Kulinski leftist lel. So explain further, are you trying to purge all the left from your community or just the disingenuous ones pushing an agenda? Why not put it that way rather than saying you want all lefties gone? I think that people that like identify, like, here's a hot take, okay? You know how Hassan uses like the hammer and sickle shit and just says like it's just for memes? That to me is the same as people that have like the Kekistani flag that's like the Nazi symbol and they're like, oh, that's just a meme. If you like LARP, like pretend to do like socialist shit, or not socialist shit, like tanky shit, like USSR shit or whatever, that's the exact same to me as people that run around doing like the fucking pretend Nazi shit. Okay, these are the types of people that I just want to fucking like piece the fuck out. So anybody that pretends to do that dumb fucking tanky shit, the capitalist blood in the streets, the homeowner, all that dumb shit is like, those are the people that I want gone. And then people that are incapable of being critical of anybody, like on the extreme left. Here's like I should make like a textbook for people that I don't want in my community. If you think Pelosi is right wing, or that Hillary and Pelosi are like conservatives or whatever, I don't fucking want you here, okay? They fucking get the fuck out. Okay, that's my metric, okay? That's my litmus test, all right? The hammer and sickle isn't just related to the USSR. What are you talking about? Isn't like the red flag and all that shit, isn't that pretty USSR? See, now, I'm gonna be totally honest. I don't know because I don't dive into a lot of commie fucking bullshit because I have so many other things I would rather waste my time on than reading about some irrelevant fucking shit that has nothing to do with anything, right? But isn't saying like, oh, well, the hammer and sickle stuff, that's not really USSR stuff. Isn't that kind of like people who are like, oh, well, the swastika, that used to be a symbol of peace too? Like, also, I think it's hilarious how many lefty people screech about like, oh, it's because he doesn't want to read, it's because and 99.9% of these motherfuckers have never picked up a fucking book that wasn't assigned to them as fucking homework too, okay? Which is evident when people freak the fuck out over Ren show. It's like, maybe you should investigate a little bit of philosophy. I shouldn't have to pick up a book to talk about politics. Okay, dude. Do you think commies would be okay with vegan gain server using Hitler memes and shit because he was a vegetarian? I don't know. The problem is your Reddit has been taken over by these people. Literally anyone who agrees with you is down and call it dick Reddit. That's okay. We're banning them one at a time, all right? One person at a time. We'll do it. People who have spent years reading material to prepare themselves for social education are crying over your brain that takes them out. Yeah, but you say that, but you go to school. Don't you go to school for like political science? And every critique you've given me on Twitter has been equally fucking brain dead, Luna. You realize that, right? Like you tried to pick a fight on the easy shit, on the vegetarian shit, without realizing like how absolutely fucking outclassed you were in that conversation. Like, wait a second, animals, pets, and farm animals are totally different. Are they really though? Let's think for like 2 seconds about it. Oh, well, this is what was your next tweet? Well, that's actually a really boring conversation. Okay, dude, like chill, come on. Should you do reading or not? I'm confused. Yeah, absolutely, you should if you have the time to or whatever. I don't give a fuck about the vegetarian debate, retard. Why are you being ableist though? Now we're bringing out the ableism. Oof! If you have a critique of any take I've given, here's the thing, okay? If I'm going to have a conversation with like a race realist and their response to me is to fire off like, well, check out this paste bit of 50 million fucking 50 million fucking takes or 50 million fucking links on like random studies, like, dude, what the fuck? Can you not make an argument? Can you say anything? Like, I'm realistically not going to read this, right? And then lefties do the same shit. Like, okay, hey, you know that like everything you just told me, like nothing really makes sense. That's because you haven't read enough. That's why. Okay, well, like, I mean, like, so if you still have the profit motive and like your market socialist system, I don't see how that eliminates, you know, like the idea that people would lobby for certain causes. Well, it's because you haven't read the books. You don't understand more. Like, dude, everything you just said was fucking wrong. It was just stupid. Nothing you said made sense. Well, that's just because you haven't read enough. Like, okay, literally, it is the most insulated. But the funny thing is that like, even if I grant that, even if I say like, okay, well maybe I don't understand because I am misinformed, it makes everything you're saying even more relevant. Because if I don't understand it and I do this shit every fucking day, there's no fucking way the average fucking worker who doesn't even know what the fuck like climate change is or what a stock dem is gonna have any fucking idea what the fuck you're talking about. That socialist revolution is like, you're gonna have to schedule it before people's curfews, okay? Because 95% of the people showing up at those rallies have to go home to mom and dad at the end of the night or they're gonna get fucking grounded, all right? Like, don't, come on, let's be real now, all right? There's a reason why lefties always say it has to be a revolution too. It's because they know they would never get their shit passed democratically because they don't have the fucking support for it. You talk to like a progressive lefty online and they think that like, oh, 99% of America's ready for this socialist fucking revolution. They're all ready. Dude, 99% of America doesn't even know what a sock dem is, right? If you actually get off Twitter and step outside of like your little group of friends on the street, like, hey, what's up? Do you know what sock dem stands for? Oh, no, that's cool. You don't know. It means social democrat though. You know what that is, right? No fucking idea. People are like, I don't even, what the fuck are you talking, social democrat? What is that, socialism? They'd have no fucking idea what the fuck you're talking about. Like, yeah, and the funny thing is that past that, they won't even know what a socialist is. What is a socialist? I don't know, isn't that somebody that wants the government to take all of our money and give it to everybody? Like, yeah. I've been watching a live stream for 6 months and I still don't even know what a sock dem is. Yeah. Lefties don't realize most people have actual jobs and families. They don't have time for internet politics. Yeah, that's like the huge disconnect between like a lot of like the online but that's like the thing that's like irritated me the most. I noticed this the most. The thing that I noticed the most, like the huge turn on for me, and it's hard to tell because I have to disaggregate like if somebody is shit talking me, is it because they actually disagree with what I say, or is it because they fucking hate me? Because a lot of people just disagree with everything I say because they hate me, which is like a standard internet thing. But when I was talking to that guy from The Intercept, and I was in Hassan's after stream for one of the Democratic debates, and I even said this in a really soft way because I consider this to be almost self-evident. When I brought up, I don't think the average voter is like primarily concerned with climate change. I don't think that's what like a working class like voter is like really concerned with. And the whole chat was like, what are you talking about? It's the most important fucking issue. Like, holy shit, how fucking disconnected are you fucking? What the fuck? You really think that like the normal like 9 to 5, 8 to 6 working American that comes home to their fucking family every night is thinking about like climate change? Like, no, these people want higher wages. These people want like some place to fucking retire, right? They want their kids to go to school. They probably want healthcare. These are like the things that like a normal working class person, they're not thinking about like, well, what can we do to get, why did we leave the Paris Climate Accord? You know, how can we get China roped in to modernizing away from fossil fuel? Like the average fucking American doesn't give a fuck about this shit. Like, what the fuck are you thinking, right? I'm a Democrat in the South. We don't care about climate change. We want better pay for our work and retirement. Yeah, that's another thing too, is that like online progressives totally miss all the moderate Democrat. I think, I wish I had this. I think this came from some 538 polling. The majority of the Democrat Party already thinks the party is too far left. Like, people totally miss, like, the whole blue dog, working class Democrat. They have no idea that there are so many Democrats that are conservative. Like, they totally miss it. They think that, like, the whole Democrat Party is, like, ready to go march in the streets behind AOC. And it's like, what the fuck? But wait, is it Democrat or Democratic? Somebody emailed me a long time ago and said one of these is, like, an insult, and I had never known. Apparently, if you say Democrat Party, it's an insult, but Democratic Party is like the way. I don't actually know why, but I never got the explanation. Why is Democrat Party an insult? Destiny, that's because of the apolitical nature of today's people. The proletariat used to be more politically active before. Okay. Conservatives say Democrat Party because they think it's an insult. Okay. I watched you argue against your own tactic right now against Lauren Sutherland. Lauren Southern is what you meant to say. The boots on the ground talking to people, anecdotal spin. I mean, like, I tweeted out a while ago, fuck, we should spend, like, a stream reading this. There is so much polling data that, like, you can pour through, and none of this polling data is going to show you that, like, the majority of the Democratic Party is progressive. It's just not it. The Progressive Party is, like, a slice, a very small part of the Democratic Party. That's why people like Biden, that's why Hillary, like, swept the nomination. It's why people like Bernie still aren't polling at Biden's level, right? Like, there's a reason why, and it's because even though they're really loud online, progressives still are only a part of the Democratic Party. Okay, listen, chill. Okay, Dunebug. Okay, I don't know why. It's really weird because Goosey jumped on this Twitter thread and said the same thing. Luna will do this thing where Luna will say, hey, all of your takes about this thing are bad, okay? And I play, you can actually go back and you can read our Twitter thread. Actually, somebody can link our Twitter thread with Luna, okay? So Luna said, hey, all of your things are bad. Do you even know what critical analysis is? And I'm like, okay. How are any of my previous bad takes related to critical analysis? She's like, well, they're all bad. It's like, okay, well, how are they bad? How? Well, they're bad because you haven't done this thing. It's like, okay, well, what about any of these is bad? And it took like 7 tweets to actually get her to say something of substance. Like, what is the thing that's bad about? And then that's when we got into the vegetarian thing. And then like 6 tweets later, she's like, oh shit, I have no idea what the fuck I'm talking about. And then that conversation died. But like I think you're doing it in chat right now, Luna. We're like, oh, you just haven't read enough. You're not scholarly to do this. It's like, okay, like, name a position. Like, what's the topic? Like, what are you talking about? Like, but you're not. You're just saying that, like, I'm not qualified, which is ironically the same thing that the alt-righters do when they talk to me. But What progressive policies do you actually oppose for their merits instead of how much support the polling data says it has? I probably support almost every single progressive policy. I can't think of any. Well, maybe some of the economic stuff. I'm not protectionist. I don't know if protectionism has become roped into progressivism or not. It seems like it has, because Bernie and Warren are kind of like the progressive people, and it seems like they support it. And I'm probably not in favor of like a national minimum wage. I don't think I'm in favor of like a national level minimum wage. I think that should probably be targeted as specific as possible. And then I'm pretty. I know we had our conversation, Irk. I feel like I'm still on board with like free college. I would have to think about it more, but I literally didn't even want to talk about the vegetarian thing. What the fuck are you talking about? Okay, so you can say that. So here's two statements that you've made. Steven, you give a lot of nuclear, bad, dumb, stupid fucking takes on Twitter. You should stop doing politics. And then two, I didn't even want to talk about the vegetarian thing. Okay? But then you tweet this at me. Yes, Steven, because clearly domestic pet animals are the same as factory farm animals, are the same as wild animals. Yes, of course, 5-het. How can you fire up a tweet like that while saying that I don't think about my tweets and then complain that you didn't even want to talk about vegetarianism? Then why would you tweet that at me? Why would you even start that? Why would you even open that dialogue? Like, it's probably not a good idea. How many views do you think Hassan organically grew himself, like then discovered him without knowing you at first? I doubt I don't think I've moved Hassan politically on any issue. We can have the vegetarian convo that I'm so outclassed in, it's just boring. You can say that it's boring, that's fine, but you tweeted some real dumb shit at me while trying to take a shot at me. And it was just horribly fucking wrong. It was like it was like the level high school, not even, like the grade school level meat eater argument, where it's like, it's pretty clear you've never thought about this in your entire life. And then you thought, fuck, dude, I probably spent more time fucking arguing veganism and shit than any other fucking issue. And you thought you could just snipe that comment on me on Twitter? And I was just like, you got me. Like, come on, dude, like, what? Like, what was dumb? You unironically implied that there is a meaningful distinction between domestic pet animals and factory farm animals and wild animals that somehow made one worthy of moral consideration and the other not. Like, that's what you imply in this tweet. Maybe you're not cognizant of that, I'm not sure. But, like, I think that's a pretty dumb fucking statement. And I'm curious if you could defend it. You can't. Spoiler alert, you can't. Spoiler alert, you will never be able to defend. I promise that is an argument you are never going to be able to defend. What do you want? I'm here. I'm in Discord, Luna.
Hello.
All right, what do you want to talk about?
You're the one who told me to get in here.
Okay, well, what were you talking about in chat?
My issue is I'm just concerned. Like, the only reason I even started replying to your tweets is just like, I'm concerned that you're commenting on things out of, I guess, the desire to, like, I like that you're trying to be part of the conversation.
Give me an example. Sure,
right?
give me an example.
You have a great voice.
Give me an example.
My most, I guess, triggering one was the Bernie Biden busing tweet. And people said you walked that back. Like, I didn't follow that. How did you walk that back?
Issue was that people claimed that they hated Biden because of busing. They hated Biden because Biden was against busing. They hated Biden. It's like, okay, well, if you look
back, grounds for busing.
Bullshit. That's a fucking lie. Now, if you want to pretend, and
wait, how?
We will never. I'm going to tell you right now that we'll never agree on this. But I promise you,
Nathan cry.
I don't care. I promise you that most people had no fucking idea about that until it was revealed that Bernie was actually against busing. And I was like, whoa, wait, hold on. Well, let's find out why Biden was against busing, and now let's find out why Bernie was against busing. And I don't even know if those arguments are great. Biden was against busing probably for political reasons. His stated reason was a separation of like state and federal.
Wait, are you saying? Oh, okay. Well, you're going quickly, and I want to make sure I'm understanding what you're saying. So you're saying that you're frustrated with the fact that people were only upset with Biden strictly for the fact that he was in support of busing.
Yes.
Or
that he was against busing.
Not his reasoning, against it. Not his reasoning for opposing busing.
Correct.
But because Bernie, people are now coming to find that he also opposed busing, but for different reasons. People are now like analyzing that further, analyzing the reasoning. You're upset about that.
Yes.
But I don't even think that was the case.
Yeah, I know, which is why we'll never agree on that position. So pick out another tweet.
But that's what I'm most angry about.
Oh, well, then I don't know how we would even begin to... Somebody in chat said it, but this is basically my position. He said... No, I never said it was a meme. I said that it was interesting. I said that it was interesting that people care more. I do draw a distinction. There's probably a difference in how they approached it, but nobody cared about Biden's rationale for being against busing until it came out that Bernie was also against busing. It's like, well, hold on, well, why was it different?
Of course they care about the rationale. People cared about the rationale at the time as well.
Okay.
They cared because it was racially motivated.
Wait, whose was racially motivated?
Biden's.
How was it racially motivated? What do you mean?
Perhaps I'm uninformed. How is it not?
I'm sorry. No, I'm not going to play that trick, Luna. Tell me how his was racially motivated. You just made that claim. That's a big Bernie bro claim. How was Biden's racially motivated when he opposed busing?
What do you mean you're not going to pull those memes?
Wait, you have no idea! Oh my god! You're literally doing it! You just came on here to accuse me of... Are you Googling it right now? Can you tell me why Biden...
No, I'm talking to you right now. Wait, why are you yelling? I genuinely don't understand why you're so
Because
upset.
you've been sniping these real snide, dipshit-ass fucking comments on all my tweets, and now when I bring you here, you just made a huge-ass fucking claim, and you have no idea what the fuck you're talking about. What the fuck, Luna?
Was she Googling? Oh my god, dude, chat is so funny, bro. No, I'm literally in chat. I'm in Discord and chat. I'm not Googling shit.
Okay.
I just said, perhaps I'm uninformed. How is it not?
If you're perhaps uninformed, why are you critical of me on Twitter for talking about things that I'm not informed about?
I'll answer your question. Here is why I am sniping you, as you say, on Twitter, because I'm willing to admit I don't talk about busing on my stream because, honestly, I'm not as informed as I should be to be utilizing my platform to talk about it. And you're sitting here and you don't know what the fuck you're talking about either.
Wait, on what? What do I not
know? No. 1 second. I am willing, genuinely willing to sit and reflect on what I don't know and willing to not fucking talk about it. And you're over. And what did I reply to that tweet? I said, maybe you should stop talking about politics. Right? That's what I said.
How can you know? How can you know?
I did not criticize your stance. I'm criticizing the fact that you're talking about things that you're uninformed about.
How can you know that I'm not informed about it if you're not informed about it? How does that even make sense?
I'm not sure how, I could say, I feel like I could come back and say the same thing to you and it wouldn't get anywhere because, if I'm arguing that you're uninformed and you're arguing that I'm uninformed and we're coming to the table with different information, it's going to be a stalemate at the end of the day.
Wait, but I know, I'm aware of this. The only reason I made those tweets is because I started reading more about it. And when I started digging into the fact that Bernie supported busing and that Biden supported busing and then looking into the difference between those two. No,
oh
what?
My God. I'm dead. What else do you know about busing?
Wait. Okay, so earlier... Okay, so there are two things you just said. You just said that you're willing to admit when you don't know something about something, but right before you made that statement, you said... Right before you made that statement, you said that Biden was against busing because of, racial issues.
Literally I do not have to be informed to know that your tweet is brain dead.
Okay.
And I definitely know enough to know that your tweet is brain dead.
Progressive movement, ladies and gentlemen. Holy shit. Encapsulated in one statement. I don't have to know anything about what you're saying. I don't have to know.
What movement are you a part of?
I'm part of the Omni-Liberals, baby.
I do not claim to be a part of any movement.
You literally just said, I don't need to know anything about your tweet to know how dumb it is.
I'm not saying I don't know anything about your tweet. I'm saying I don't have to know anything about your tweet. I just have to know enough to know about not only busing at the time, but the social climate at the time and what was happening when Bernie and I guess at the time that was happening.
Sure. So in case you missed it, you also completely proved my point when I said that people don't even know why Biden was against busing because you just said it was for racial reasons. And you can't, and you don't even know what you mean when you said that.
Honestly, please tell me.
Well, no, wait. I want to know. You thought that Biden? Wait, no. You thought that Biden was against busing because he was a racist? Is that what you think?
I felt that it was racially motivated. I'm genuinely asking you to tell me.
Racially motivated how?
Please correct me. Please. I'm literally coming here. Here's the thing. I don't give a fuck about being embarrassed on stream because I'm not out here abusing a platform. I'm genuinely asking you. Tell me.
Okay, so
if it wasn't racially motivated, then what was the political motivation for opposing busing at the time?
The political motivation...
And through the lens of Biden.
Sure, the political motivation was that in certain districts, such as the one that Biden was, he was getting super heavy pushback from his electorate at the time. And it seemed like an issue that wasn't worth staking his entire career on, because this didn't have heavy support from any community. That the black and the white community didn't seem to support busing as like a first option alternative to actually dealing with this type of stuff. And a lot of the federal busing programs weren't as effective as some of the state level ones either. Now, we can argue whether or not, like, was he doing it to be politically expedient? Did he actually believe in it? And I think there's good arguments there, right? Maybe he should have been more of a leader and supported it. Sure, but to just say it was because of racial motivations or whatever, what am I supposed to think there? That Biden hated black people and that's why he was against it? That's an absurd reading of that.
No, I guess where I was coming from was that... One second, I have music playing. I guess where I was coming from was, like, if my understanding was that if everyone opposed it, like... Maybe I don't know where I'm coming from.
Why are people making a big deal about it now? Because it's an easy way for progressives to shit on Biden.
Not about, like... not about... And the thing is, like, I didn't even, like, when I'm looking at Biden and, like, why I want to criticize him, like, busing is not the first thing. Looking at, like, the social climate, right? Like, at the time, like... people like not supporting busing at the time universally, like I'm not even, that's not the first thing I'm gonna pin him on the wall for, you know what I mean?
What is the first thing? I'm curious.
I would say overall his voting record has been
on what?
Like
what's one vote of Biden's that you disagree with?
I mean, I have notes that I could look at, but off the top of my head, I don't know.
Okay. All right.
Anyways, good talk, buddy.
All right. I love you, buddy. Okay? Be careful.
Yeah, also, I just want to say, we're not cutting ties. Hello?
No, of course not. All right.
We're just arguing. Bye.
Be safe.
Love you too.
Okay.
Because he got there first. Wait, I should establish. The person going north got there first. The person going west got there second.